Hello, today we'll be looking at a new arrow detector that I've been using because my previous arrow detector used particles which are client-side, and therefore it doesn't really work in SMP, and also it doesn't really give you a lot of leeway underneath your detection area because you have to have a fire or a torch on a wall or that sort of thing underneath. And I really like having these sort of forward design things, making it look kind of like an eye, similar to a target you might see in a Legend of Zelda game or something like that. And similarly on the right here I have more like a button that you would see in Legend of Zelda, like crystals sticking out of the wall and that sort of thing, and it makes it look a bit more interactive. I prefer to use furnaces for these detectors, which clearly, as you can see, are just a cart of any type on a detector rail, and when we shoot it off it deactivates the detector rail, and behind it we have an inverter, and that activates whatever we want, such as a door. And in this case I prefer to use furnace carts, as I've said, simply because it covers more of the wall and it allows us to shoot the carts off and then have a nice little lime green wall behind our detector or something like that to very easily indicate that something has happened and you have correctly activated the detector. And a normal cart, a smaller one, just doesn't really hide everything that we want it to hide. And then on the right we have a very easily seen object, so in case, for example, you want your player to shoot this detector off from a corner and they might not be able to see directly that you have some stuff placed and it's actually a detector, this would be a very useful way to go about that. However, if you have a fishing rod, you can just pull that right off, so it's a bit of a problem if you have it too close for the fishing rod to actually be able to pull the thing off, so you might need to rail the area off away from it or otherwise prevent them from using it. And then as well we have this section here which I'm demonstrating that, and luckily furnace carts don't have the annoying creative thing where if you right click you open up the furnace, because when you right click you're really just moving the cart forward or placing coal in it depending on if you have it in your inventory. So to demonstrate we can just pull this cart off. Not very good for adventure maps, but if you were to destroy the brick down here and place a rail of any type, for example this rail here, then it will, come on, there we go, it will match up and you can replace it with whatever block you want. And then in the back of all these detectors it's all the same. We just, as I said, have an inverter so that it's always the reverse of whatever the detector rail is, and then we power whatever we want. So back here I have a door, and then we have a detector above the door. And if you had a fishing rod you'd be able to pull it out if it was facing forward, and that wouldn't be good, but you can just shoot it off like this and that activates our door. And of course you don't want to do it like this if you don't want your players to have furnaces or minecarts that may fall on their heads, unless it's in an inaccessible area, for example across lava or that sort of thing, where their items that fall might be burnt if a cart should happen to fall. And then over here there's some interesting ways you can position these so that they can't be accessible directly or they appear hidden. For example here we just have a switch, you can see it there. I'm not even going to worry about demonstrating it, you know what it's going to do. It's just going to push this piece of glass down with the piston and prevent you from shooting the detector off until you've solved some other piece of the puzzle. And then over there that was just a bit of testing. And then over here I just have a slab either down below or above, and then you just place some stairs or however you want to do it, and then you have a very small area for which to shoot through with your bow, and then if you make it, and I believe I did on the first shot, you will activate the back end, which you set up just like any other. So if we open this up, we have just a detector down there, a little opening there. If we break that off, and this is just a slab. and then you don't need to worry about the placement of the rails or anything like that. And then if you want some other Easter eggy type things or hidden chests and such, you can place a rail, for example, above the head of the player in the ceiling and have them shoot the card off, and then in this case I got a diamond. And one problem with that is that if you have it in this small sort of area that I have, you might get items going directly through the wall if you're using chest minecarts, storage minecarts. So what I did instead is sort of cheated, and I just placed any normal cart on this detector rail here, and then just inverted that power into this dispenser. That way we could just have, you know, whatever we want in the dispenser and not have to worry about making sure that the item from the chest actually makes it to the player. So there we go, that's about it. Just wrap up there, and I will see you next time.